And we are live with an abundance of things to talk about. Just as soon as we get some people in here, I didn't stream yesterday. I came out here to do it, and I got basically ready, but then I went to turn it on and kind of had a moment where I was like, do I really feel like doing this? Do I really need to do this tonight? And the answer I came to was no, no, no to both. But tonight, I figured I don't want to let this news story sit any longer in my feed before I cover it, and I would like to make a little bit more money in November before the end of the month. So we're gonna see. We're gonna do our best. We're gonna see what kind of conversations we manage to have. Hi, Melanie. My day's going good. I had my Thanksgiving dinner today, so that was cool. Most people had theirs on Thursday, but my family held off until Saturday, so we had that today, which was really cool. I haven't had any of our desserts yet, which I'm looking forward to when I go inside. I'm at work. Why stream now? I can't watch sadly, but I hope you have a good stream. Oh, well, I'm sorry, Aria. Although, to be fair, I would argue that my streams tend towards nighttime. Let's see here. What does that do? Nothing? Okay, cool. Good to know. There we go. Nice. Nice. YouTube's settings allow me so much freedom these days, y'all. That's so cool. Hey, how you doing? Hope y'all and your family had a blessed day today. Well, I think everybody did. I mean, not a lot of people in here yet, so I guess we don't really know yet, but Autumn! On your Thanksgiving dinner. Oh, well, yes. Yeah. Everybody at my house had a really wonderful day. Everybody at my house did good, so all good there. You didn't have Thanksgiving? Yeah, I'll say this much. I didn't see nearly as much Thanksgiving posting as I normally would in the lead up to Thanksgiving this year. Like, I don't know if that's just a result of the communities that I'm a part of, or it's a result of my algorithm, or what, but I feel like normally my algorithm is full of all kinds of holiday related stuff around the holidays, and I feel like this time there was some of it, but not nearly as much as I'm accustomed to, which makes me wonder if the tensions that I detect escalating all around us are in fact getting to the point where people are no longer able to focus on, more um I don't know, more simple pleasures, I suppose. I haven't celebrated Thanksgiving in 5 or 6 years for various reasons. Well, that's fair. I like to celebrate it, but mostly because I look at it as a holiday for family to come together, for everybody to have a really nice meal, and to. I feel like Thanksgiving, I feel like it used to be kind of a place where everybody would like set their differences aside or have good conversations that didn't break up families. And I feel like ultimately what happened, people love to blame it on people from the left, but I really do. I remember that cultural shift. And I feel like it was mostly due to people during the first Trump administration being willing to break up their whole families over the matter of Trump, being willing and convinced that they needed to bring up the elections at fucking Thanksgiving back in 2015 and 2016. That's the first year I ever remember politics being a part of Thanksgiving. Like I said, I know for other people it was probably always an aspect. And even in my family Thanksgivings, I can think of political conversations and disagreements that I had before then. But the difference is, I don't remember anybody wearing like political shirts to their Thanksgiving dinner before that year. I don't remember anybody breaking their family up over the matter of who voted for which president until 2015 or 2016. And I feel like it's pretty much been the like hardcore MAGA right continuously pushing this cultural shift away from simple conversational dialogue and more towards my way or the highway conservatism. Why do so many men want to be women? I feel like it's a cop out. Women have an easier life, men have it much harder. You couldn't be more wrong. So there's about a dozen misapprehensions in that comment. Let's break them all down one at a time. So why do so many men want to be women? They don't. Trans people make up less than a percent of the overall population, meaning that 99.99% of men, as in what you would consider someone born with a penis, right, end up being completely comfortable with that. It's only a very small percentage of the overall population that ends up transitioning. And perhaps it's a larger swath of the population that desires that or maybe envisions themselves in that way. But I would be shocked if there's like multiple, especially if there's like a double digit percentage level of people with trans feelings in the overall population. So let's just squash that first notion that there are tons of men who want to become women. Let's just, excuse me, ow. Yeah, I hate it when that happens. Anyway, so the first thing you said, that there's like a ton of men wanting to become women, completely bogus. The second thing you said, it's a cop out because men have it harder than women. That's just completely objectively untrue. Men have far more men have far more employment opportunities than women. Women are historically more. I'm sorry, less likely to get housing, other necessary resources if they are by themselves, they are not married. Women are taken less seriously on phone calls. Women tend to be paid less. Women tend to make less overall. I'm not saying there's still some kind of like hardcore gender wage gap, but there is still a discrepancy there that affects the overall quality of life that can be afforded to the average woman versus the average man. I would say that overall, um, we've come a long way towards equality of the sexes and equality of the genders, but I feel like we haven't gotten there quite yet. And so I feel like, if you combine that with the fact that a trans person now also has to experience transphobia on top of misogyny or misandry or whatever they're facing as a result of their gender identity, they're also going to have to face transphobia as a result of it being a trans gender identity. So I would argue that trans people have it harder than men or women, like cis men or cis women. I would argue that pretty simply. Now that being said, I don't find like I don't. That's not me like victimizing myself or anything like that. I mean, I live a pretty okay life, as trans people in the deep south go. But it's important to recognize systemic failures because you can't fix a broken system if you're not going to talk about the ways that it fucks up. Make sure you guys hit that like button, by the way. It really does help. Every single time you hit that like button is a chance to stream out to even more people, which increases the quality of your viewing pleasure by increasing the number of people engaged in chat. So please do so now if you haven't done so already. I really do appreciate it. Straight cuckoo bird, that's actually spelled with a C, not a K. I just thought I would let you know. Disgusting. Scroll away then. I ain't got you chained to the radiator. You're not a woman, you're a man. Well, luckily, you merely saying that as some internet random means literally nothing. That decision is between me, my doctor, my therapist, my overall social situation, but you're not a part of that. You know why? Because when I end the stream, you go away. The existence of successful women is not social security. That is not how that works. Yeah, yeah, 100%. Merely because there are some successful women out there doesn't mean that women necessarily and automatically have the same access as men do. I mean, really, if you want to be completely truthful with it, money is the great equalizer. So if you're born into a rich family and your family bequeaths you with a lot of money and you're a cis woman, then regardless of the position you see yourself in, regardless of how you personally look at femininity, unless you plan on giving all that money away to your husband, suddenly you're a successful woman, even if you didn't have any of the advantages that your male family members had on their way to earning that wealth or whatever. What if you're born poor and become rich, though? Can you give me some examples? Some recent examples, I mean. Like, I'm sure everybody's going to want to everybody's going to want to cite people like George Peabody, but George Peabody lived 200 years ago. Not literally 200, but it's like people are going to want to cite people like George Peabody, and I'm going to have to point out the fact that economic conditions could not be more different now than they were in the time of Peabody's day. There's no more unexplored territory there was in Peabody's day. There are no untapped mines. There were in Peabody's day. There are no unbuilt railroads. There were in Peabody's day. The self-hatred in this chat is screaming. Oh, literally, just stick around for a while. This has been called, TJ Kirk has called this stream the most reprehensible chat on YouTube. Different from any other night, but I appreciate it. Excuse me. Is it just rage baiting? Well, it's interesting that you say that because I like just sit around here all day long and have conversations with people, despite the fact that so many people accuse me of merely rage baiting. It seems like I actually have a lot of really interesting and in-depth conversations. Everything is rage bait, dumbass. Yeah, literally. That's also a rude point. Like, can you name for me a kind of content these days that isn't rage bait? I mean, I guess like video game content maybe doesn't necessarily have to be, but a lot of times it is. Like, dude, everybody is okay. Everything is rage bait now. We've noticed this, and I feel like a lot of people are wondering why, wondering if this is some evolution of our culture or something like that. And it is, of course, there is a why, but I feel like the reasons I keep hearing cited are not the real reason. Because what? Like, here's my theory. Here's my theory about a reason why so much content is rage bait now. Because we're all so pissed off. We're all so fucking pissed that all you got to do to rage bait somebody these days is be an open, honest trans woman online. Literally. That simple. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Sure wish that would quit fucking happening, though. Love it. I look like I came straight from the 80s. I'll take that as a compliment. I was raised by somebody who was raised in the 80s, so that just probably means mom. Which is not necessarily a bad thing. What is your name? Phoebe. Oh man, look at this salty comment, Let's name and shame a salty comment. So Mike Spadell 27. Once again, that's Mike Spadell, Mikespidell 27. Mike Spadell. What a fucking stupid name that guy's got. Hey dude, you ever move from your couch? How many government programs are you on, you sad freak? So that's what Mike Spadell has to say. Mike Spadell, of course, was stupid enough to put his actual real legal name as his YouTube handle, and therefore I'm not doxing him by reading it off. That's simply what he chose to call himself on YouTube. Thanks, Mike Slidell, or Spidell. Anyway, Mike Spidell, who's probably born on the 27th, I would have to assume, with a name like that. Mike Spidell 27, just to respond to your comment, I'm not on any government programs, motherfucker. Well, I guess that's not entirely true. My partner and my child are on women, infants, and children, like every other working class family with a young child in this country. But other than that, I receive no food stamps, I receive no Social Security, I receive no disability benefits. Every single dime I make comes from my really truly and profoundly wonderful audience who has already donated a super chat already today. I haven't read it yet. We're up to one. We're only 20 minutes in, and I mean, the channel just keeps growing. The income from it just keeps growing, and I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. So I'm afraid you're just going to have to keep up with your weak, sad cope for a little while. Thanks for the comment, Mike Spadell. $2. So many eggs in chat and denial. It's kind of cute. It is a little bit cute, isn't it? It is a little bit cute, isn't it? Your money comes from begging? Begging. That's an interesting way to rephrase offering a digital product. It's a very interesting way to rephrase it. By the way, if you would like to make sure your comment or question gets read or answered, I do read every single super chat. I can't read every single actual chat that goes on in the chat, but I can read every single super chat. So I do appreciate it when you guys send them in. It helps me out immensely, not only obviously financially, also helps the channel out by funding new upgrades to the equipment that I use. This lapel mic, for example, was purchased by you guys. It's not the best lapel mic in the world. Don't get me wrong. Certainly I could do with an upgrade again. But the point is, audience supported channel, the product that you're getting is the opportunity to have your voice added to the discourse. Of course, people can also donate for music, and that's one of the things I always tell people. If you want to get a song, $5 or more, I'm happy to play a couple for you. Pretty simple thing. Pretty easy idea to figure out, the idea of a digital product. I know it's a new age, and the world has changed in many and different varied ways, but you know, I personally, for one, embrace the dominance of our AI tech overlords. That's a joke, by the way. I do like the development of AI, but I'm not a big fan of how it's currently so corporate. Transgenderism is predicated on sexist and regressive stereotypes, and it's abusive. You are beautiful just the way you are, bro. What a disgusting, awful comment. What a completely retarded and disgusting and awful comment. Literally a motherfucker going around thinking that because they're an internet doctor who can say things with a little bit of conviction, that undoes the literal decades, the century at this point, of science that has gone into the study of transgender people. That person just defeated it all with one little blithe YouTube comment. At least in their mind, they did. I really don't give a fuck what you think about me. I don't care if you think I'm beautiful or if you think I'm hideous. I'm really happy that you're thinking about me at all. How do you put up all the haters? I wipe my tears with my super chat revenue. I wipe my tears with my super chat revenue and my membership revenue. I don't know. It's pretty easy to deal with haters when you know that they're a massive contributor to your success. It's pretty like I love the haters. I'm glad they're here. Literally, I'm not even kidding. That's not me joking. That's not me trying to play it off. I'm super fucking happy. There's like a cadre. Do you guys want to know how big the cadre is? My returning viewers for the last 3 months averages every month around 250,000 people. Yeah, 250,000. 250,000 people. So, with that in mind, don't let that 9,000 subscriber number fool you. There are hundreds of thousands of people watching my ass every month. Show it, don't say it. Okay. I don't have any like convenient way to show you right now, but if you go to if you just like I'm pretty sure Social Blade is still able to give you like real-time counts of all that shit. So I'm pretty sure if you went on Social Blade, you'd be able to see those same numbers. I don't know if they're still. I don't know if Social Blade is still useful, honestly, because I know that certain aspects of their software have become nigh on useless with some of YouTube's API updates. So I don't know how useful they are as a metric anymore. But overall, the point is, when you know for a fact that of the 250,000 people that are swinging back through to listen to your content, when you know that at least 200,000 of those people are people who don't even really like you, who in fact hate your ass and hate and claim to hate people like you and everything, when you know that you're getting hundreds of thousands of views off these people, why would you stop? Why would I ever stop? Literally, why would I ever stop? Name me one good reason why I would stop. Like, as long as I continue attracting a giant crowd of haters, I continue to get successful. I continue to grow and power, prestige, and money. That's that's the new economy. That's the new economy of content creation. And the sooner you guys wise up to it, the sooner you'll stop being gamed by it. Make sure you guys hit that like button, by the way. It really does help. Every single time you hit that like button is another chance to send the stream out to even more people. Quality of your viewing pleasure, increase the number of people who can engage in the chat. And that's what we're here to do. Ultimately, argue with the chat. Speaking of arguing with the chat, did you guys hear? Oh, we got a super chat. Now, I'll get into it in a second. Got $5 from Decali Install. Love how you dissect these sad, damaged losers. Aw, thank you. I appreciate the $5. I love it too. It's one of my favorite hobbies. It really does give me a real hoot. I could spend all day arguing with these morons. I disagree. The new prestige is not being on social media / living on the internet, but living in real life. Oh, I'm not talking about fucking overall. Yeah, I mean, obviously, overall, the people who touch the most grass are still going to be the people with the most prestige. I'm talking about in the content creator environment. Okay, I'm talking about in this specific atmosphere of streaming and making political or social commentary kind of content. In that particular environment, the new economy is entirely based on rage. It's entirely based on anger. It's entirely based on snark, hatred, and dissent. It's not based on people loving you. It's not based on people like falling in love with everything you are and thinking you're the perfect person. That's not how political content works anymore. Hasn't been for a while. The new economy of political and social content is rage, anger, hatred, fear. The real people I think are cool, and the way I try to be is someone who plays on that and plays into that algorithm while ultimately being a person whose advocacy is completely against it. Like, I get the people in with the catchy headline and the queer pride flag and the very clear like irreverent symbolism and stuff, but then I keep them in with the interesting conversations, the complex dialogue, and the deep perspectives that I'm always willing to give more details on whenever I'm asked. But yeah, I appreciate that $5 a lot. Thank you so much. That was so kind. If anybody else would like to make sure their comment or question gets read or answered, consider sending a super chat. I do read every single one as long as it doesn't violate TOS. I can't read every single chat in the actual chat, but I will read every single super chat. Are you for Trump? No, but I'm also not as rabidly anti-Trump as a lot of lefties are. Now, I do call Trump a fascist, you know. That being said, I also call Biden a fascist, so I don't know if it means as much coming from me, you know. I don't think that America's had a non-fascist president since Nixon, maybe. Maybe. And even then, that's kind of but at least Nixon did do some things for the people. You know, founded the EPA, started the program that would become SNAP. But then again, also started the war on drugs. Also, like, did it mainly to target black people and anti-war protesters. So it's like, a little shaky there. I think there's a really, really, really fucking good argument to be made that we haven't had a non-fascist president in this country since the days of FDR, or maybe the days of Eisenhower, maybe. Um, uh, I think that, like, pretty much anybody from within the last 20 years, you can make a hardcore argument that they fit the definition, like, of fascism, at least as described by Mussolini and other fascist thinkers and leaders. Like, if you're going to take their word for what fascism is, then yes, these people fit it. Yeah, they're not going around dressed in Nazi uniforms with fucking jackboots on. There's a practical reason for that. You realize that? You realize if they could, they would? Like, you realize there's a practical reason why nobody goes around dressed like a Nazi anymore, okay? Because the Nazi uniform was really practical in the days of trench warfare in World War II. It is no longer the practical minority stomping uniform if you are a corrupt cop or one of these National Guardsmen being illegally deployed to America's cities, or an ICE pig that's being illegally deployed to America's cities. You know, like, if you're one of those people, like, there's a different get up required for the effective handling of that task. It's, you know, like, you can't really, the whole trench coat, the whole trench coat aesthetic that came with the Nazis, you're not going to see that return, but there's practical reasons for that. They're not cultural ones. You have to understand that this tendency, this American tendency towards fascism, number one, it's not a new thing. It wasn't invented by Trump. He didn't bring it here. And number two, it's not going away because we get rid of Trump. And I think that probably is one of the reasons why I'm not as froth-mouthed about Trump as a lot of people are. That doesn't mean I don't have my issues with him. Obviously, I do. I have a ton of issues with the president. But perhaps one of the reasons I'm not as froth-mouthed about it is because I recognize that ultimately Trump is not the reason why everything is getting so fucked up. If it hadn't been Trump, it would have been some other really horrible fascistic Republican at some other point. You know, might have even been some kind of right-leaning Democrat that ended up doing some really horrible fascist shit. Because Lord knows we've seen that as well. So I think that this kind of like authoritarian tendency has been rising in America for a while, and I think that the tensions that we're seeing could lead to nowhere else but that. I feel like we were due for a Trump, if that makes sense. Not to say that it was a good thing that it happened, but that it's a completely predictable, it's a completely predictable outcome to late stage capitalism of the variety that America has been putting forward over the last 60 years. Speaking of Trump, did you guys hear about Trump saying that airlines, let's see, what did he say? Pilots, airlines, drug traffickers, and human traffickers should consider Venezuela's airspace closed. It should be considered closed. Now that is alarming, because number one, like, countries can't just decide to shut down other countries' airspace. That's not how it works. So the saying of something like this indicates that they are planning on some kind of full fucking massive air war in Venezuela. Some kind of full massive land invasion, maybe, that they want to be able to support from the air and achieve air dominance very early. This is an escalation. This cannot be interpreted any other way but an escalation. And I want you guys to remember that this is the anti-war president, right? This is the president who said he was going to get into office and end all the wars. This is the guy who's taken credit already for ending 8 wars, most of which he had nothing to do with, according to the people who organized them. According to the people who are actually involved in the decision making, Trump had nothing to do with it, but he still takes claim for over 8 wars being stopped. Now, this is yet another foreign conflict that the sitting president has decided to go all in on despite not having any congressional approval, as pointed out by multiple fucking Democrats and by multiple fucking Republicans, Marjorie Taylor Greene among them. How is MAGA dealing with that, by the way? How are you guys handling Marjorie's exit from MAGA? how are you guys handling that? Is that going over well? No, I'm reading chat. What's the last book you read? Ishmael by Daniel Quinn. Imagine that, a person who is a man and think he has not a horribly wrong political opinion. Huh? Yeah, you're just retarded. I'm sorry. Come back when you've graduated 3rd grade. What's that book about? A conversation. I'm not going to spoil you. Hey, retard, they keep saying it's a bowl cut. I don't know if you know this, right? But a bowl cut goes all the way around. That doesn't go all the way around. Sorry. You look like a 12-year-old. Why are you vaping? I don't know. Why are you watching a live stream of someone vaping if you've got such a problem with it? Now we're both asking questions. Look at that. Are we actually about to have a conversation here? Hit the Redditor pose. I'm not terminally online enough to know what that means. Sorry. Make sure you guys hit that like button, by the way. I can't believe we're sitting at 155 viewers, but we're only sitting at 36 likes. That is unbelievable, guys. Come on, hit that button, please. Please. For me. I can't decide what I want. You've met your match. I'm the ultimate arguer. No, you're not. Trust me. Trust me. I personally know 2 people who can out argue you because they've been doing it for a living for 10 years. So, no. You might be a good arguer. I'm not trying to talk shit, but you are not the ultimate. Anyway, so I can't, like, I can, but it's hard for me to fathom another example of a president so roundly going back on their campaign promises, especially with something that's so unnecessary like a war. It's not like Donald Trump had to start this armed conflict with Venezuela. He just wants, he's a billionaire fucking stooge. He is a representative of his economic class, and he is acting in their best interests, attempting to secure Venezuelan mineral and resource rights for American corporations for the extended future. That is his only plan with Venezuela. And naturally, that didn't have to happen. American hegemony does not have to be the case. America doesn't have to dominate the business world across the entire global marketplace. But people like Trump benefit immensely from the American bourgeoisie, the American owner class, the people who own the company you work for, the people who own the house that you live in, et cetera, et cetera. The American ownership class has a tremendous amount to benefit from companies like ExxonMobil and Chevron and Halliburton being able to run fucking wild, run roughshod all over countries like Venezuela. They have an immense business interest in these kinds of things, and that's why it's once again an entirely predictable result that a president like Trump would go back on this massive campaign promise. What is surprising to me is that so few MAGA people seem to care about that, because for some reason MAGA people, Republicans, care a whole fucking hell of a lot when a socialist or a Democrat or something like that doesn't deliver on one of their campaign promises. Suddenly, it matters a ton when a politician says something on the campaign trail and does another thing once they get office. But for some reason, when it comes to a Republican president, especially when it comes to this particular Republican president, there seems to be an entirely different standard being followed, an entirely different standard that is predicated upon what the president wants, not on what on what's best for democracy or what's better for the world's population as a whole or anything like that. Mondani, dude. Did anybody else just catch that misspelling of Mondani? Did anybody else just catch that? That was beautiful. That was hilarious. Make sure you guys send a super chat if you want to make sure your comment or question gets read or answered. I do read every single super chat. I just can't read every single chat that goes by in the proper chat because it would take me forever. And we would have like no viewers because half of them would be nonsense. Do you know what the Electoral College is? Yeah. Do you know how it's spelled? Like your hair? Thank you. Americans get what they vote for. Get over it. Americans don't really get what we vote for. No, Americans get what their politicians decide to do once they get into office. Americans continually to like Americans vote for ideas and a vision. Ultimately, that just doesn't like that's just not what is usually achieved by a politician to get into office. Usually, their vision becomes a lot less important once they're actually sitting there with that nice, rich salary. Wonder why that is. What could possibly be the common thread in that? You know. I did see something disheartening, which is that the third party, your party movement in the UK is already starting to fall apart. Literally on the day that it was supposed to be like officially announced. Literally the day it was supposed to be officially announced, one of the founders boycotted it. So like, fuck, man, god damn it. And I feel like this kind of thing, I'm keeping a close watch on your party right now because I want to learn from this, and I want American leftists to apply these lessons hopefully at some point in the future when we get an opportunity to maybe push for a good third party or an independent candidate here in the 2026 elections, maybe either 2026 and 2028 as well. What the fuck is this clown? I don't know. I'm just a trans woman making content online, but if you don't like it, you can always scroll up or go find something else or stick a pine cone up your ass, you know? Lots of different things we can do. Ideally, we vote for ideas and ambitions. There are plenty of knobheads who voted because they were entertained by Trump's antics and how it triggered the libs. Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, for sure. When I say that, when I say something big and broad like that, I'm usually talking about like the population as a whole or us as a general like statistic or something like that. I recognize that obviously within individual movements and parties and things like that, there are going to be differences between different people and different like subgroups within those wider groups and stuff like that. So yeah, like there's definitely a contingent of MAGA people who voted Trump not because they saw some kind of glorious vision of economic stability in his campaign, but rather because they saw how much he pissed off people like, well, frankly, people like me and people like actual liberals, you know. Um, because me being a leftist, I consider myself pretty far to the left of someone like Hillary Clinton. But there are lots of people who just vote on, like, literally based on what makes trans people and Democrats angry, which is no way to get good policy. I don't know why. Dude, it's so funny because Republicans never stop bitching about the government, but they also never vote for anything that would improve its function. All they ever vote for is oppressing minorities. You know, I'm saying, despite the fact that a lot of them don't think that they're voting that way, I'm recognizing, right, that it's ultimately a small cadre of people within the overall Republican Party, within the overall like Trump voter rolls of 2024, that represent that kind of hateful tendency, that kind of like reactionary tendency. I feel like it represents a pretty small group of people, but because that reactionary tendency is implicit in the politician, because it's in there, just in the politician in and of itself, whenever you support a politician like that for reasons that aren't related to that to that reactionary edge, you're still inadvertently supporting it. You're still propping it up. And I think that there are a lot of fucking people who don't seem to recognize the cognitive dissonance in that, who don't seem to recognize whenever they're bitching about the government. A lot of people on the right, I mean, a lot of people don't seem to recognize that they're bitching about the very people that they elected. They're bitching about the very policies that they pushed for. I appreciate how eloquent you convey your thoughts. It's refreshing. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Cognitive dissonance, says the leftist. That's not an argument. I did say cognitive dissonance. What's the possible problem with that? Just saying it with a quote and acting like it's stupid isn't actually an argument. I know you're. I know. Listen, I started watching Drunken Peasants in 2014. Trust me, I know. I know you've been exposed to nothing but debate bros. I know you've been exposed to nothing but people like Vosh and Hassan and Destiny and fucking Sargon of Akkad, Milo Yiannopoulos. I know that you've been baked and bred in that environment. But the reality of it is that I grew up watching that shit and a whole bunch of other shit. So when I argue, there's actual substance to my arguments. There's actually stuff there. And when someone argues against them, I expect them to have a cogent refutation of the things that I say, not idle shit talk. Go watch Nick Fuentes. Somebody was saying I should debate Nick Fuentes the other day, and I was just like, would Nick Fuentes even have a debate with a trans woman? That just doesn't sound like his jam. I don't know. I know he's gay and everything, but like most gay guys are not into trans women, despite what conservatives will tell you. Thank you so much for the $2. I appreciate that. Bam, bam, bam. Hello, 88. You're cute and attractive. If you like guys, hit me up. Well, thank you for that comment. I appreciate that. I'm going to give that a little heart. I am sadly not into guys. I mean, I'm sexually into guys, I guess, but I'm not really like, I can't see myself in a long term romantic relationship with a dude. I guess I've met a couple of trans guys and maybe two or three cis guys in my life that I could, but like most men are just not really my type. That being said, stick around in the chat and say interesting things, and who knows, maybe I'll fall in love. My arguments have substance because I say they do, and yours do not because I say yours do not. No, yours don't because you haven't provided any substance for them. You just keep saying things snarkily with quotes around them as if that actually makes a point or like is in any way an argument, right? Whereas when I say shit, I'm actually backing it up with something. Kind of like right then when I described the comment that you're making accurately and described how it's not a non-argument, right? You see in the picture, are you seeing how I'm way better at this than you are? What content are you creating? Yes, I am a content creator. The content I'm creating is I guess, like, I don't know, what would you call these? Like when I first started doing them, I just called them ideologies because I fucking pretty much figured out how to do these by watching Paul's Ego for 10 years. And now at this point, I feel like this is a different thing. This is a different thing than what Paul does because I come on here looking to argue with you guys. I come on here looking to talk about what's on the news, whereas Paul does those primarily to chill and have esoteric conversations and stuff like that, which we do here, but it's usually after the first like hour and a half of the stream. It's like a later on kind of thing, and normally the first hour, hour and a half, 2 hours is mostly me arguing with conservatives and liberals and other lefties and shit like that. Ultimately, I guess what it would be considered is an interactive live stream focused on chat streamer participation and interplay. Take calls and actually let people make counter arguments. You get more traction. I'm getting plenty of traction already. I'm getting plenty of traction just doing these, but I do plan on doing a call-in show here soon. I keep saying I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it then, I'm going to do it then, I'm going to do it then. I just need to fucking sit down and do it and then announce to you guys I'm doing it like a couple hours before I do it. Because every time I plan on doing it, I end up getting busy or setting it off or something like that. So be on the lookout. Keep that subscriber button hit. Keep the bell ring because eventually I will be doing call-in shows. The Skibbities are up way past their bedtime. Trust me, I know. They're out in force tonight. Dude, honestly though, it is a Saturday night, and you know what? A lot of their parents' duties are probably West Coast Skibbities. So for a lot of them, it's just now rolling around towards close to their bedtime. Sadly for us. Jesus wants you to repent. He still loves you. You realize Jesus is perfectly cool with trans people, right? Name for me the one bad thing Jesus ever had to say about a trans person. Can you name off to me one thing Christ Almighty ever had to say about a trans woman? Or a trans man? Or a trans person in general? I'm waiting. Give me, I'm not talking about Leviticus, because you don't listen to Leviticus either. Trust me. We want to go through Leviticus. I can point out 17 different ways you're breaking Levitical law right now. Okay? So let's not go to Leviticus. You're a Christian. I'm whatever I am, but neither of us are following Mosaic law. We can accept that, right? Your IQ 120 to 130 132. Your opponent's 80 to 95, in my view. Well, thank you. I don't really know if I have a triple digit IQ. I can tell you this much. I am skilled with language and I'm like fairly charismatic. And I think that ultimately is the biggest driver of people feeling like getting this apprehension that I'm super smart. I don't think that I'm like some kind of fucking, rogue genius or whatever. I just think that I'm like a fairly well spoken and fast talking person that is able to present her points with confidence. And that gives off the impression of intelligence. That and the fact that I read, well, sadly, that'll also give people that mistaken impression. Just reading a little bit every now and again. How about play the guitar behind you? If you guys send $5 or more and include your request in the comment that you leave with your super chat, I will gladly pick up the guitar and play some music. Thank you, Bam, for the donation, by the way. I don't know if I actually said thank you, but I do appreciate it. But yeah, surprisingly, these bots help your channel grow. Oh yeah, I know. No, I was talking about that a little bit earlier, Bam, is how the reality of it is, somebody was asking me, like, how do you deal with the haters, Phoebe? And I was like, well, I wipe my tears with my super chat revenue. I wipe my tears with a printout of my subscriber numbers. I wipe my tears with a printout of my viewership numbers, I look at all the green up arrows on my YouTube studio and cry into those. It's super easy to deal with haters when you know that they're a fundamental part of your monetization model. Spam soup. Literally, spam soup. What kind of haircut is that? What the hell am I looking at here? I don't know. Bangs and some shit on the back. I don't know. I don't know what this part is called when you've got bangs. I'll subscribe and be a fan. Exactly. TTYL. Well, thanks for hanging out. Are you a woman? Yes. Pretentious. Try that one again, and let's see if you're able to quack one out. It's a mullet. No, it is not a mullet. It is not a fucking mullet. It can't be a mullet. Holy shit, Cincinnati Drew, thank you for the $4.99. You're a member. That is dope. Ooh, wait a minute. No, never mind. For a minute, I thought you were somebody from the DFF community. I thought you were a snarker, not a snarker, but I thought you were cynic for a second, but you're not. I just, for a second, I thought you might have been. You're about to hate me though, okay? Listen, I can't play that song. I don't know it. And unfortunately, if I sit here and try to learn it, like, on the fly, it's probably going to sound like shit. But you have specified that it's a music request. And so I will work with you to figure out a song that we do both know. I listen to a lot of folk punk. I listen to a lot of early early 2000s indie rock and alt music and shit like that. A lot of Phoebe Bridgers, a lot of fucking Weezer, a lot of fucking Shins, a lot of City and Color, a lot of Neil Halstead, a lot of Slowdive, a lot of Mojave 3. Some old folk music from around from various places, honestly. A little bit of a wide variety of 90s stuff. So I'm sure we can figure out something that you'll want to hear. Just listen to the song, give it a try, gang. You don't understand. In order for me to do that, I would have to literally exit the app. So you guys would have to deal with. It's just there's no way I can do it. I would have to have another phone out here because the only other option for me to do that would be to close this app and then open YouTube Music and then play it. But it's gonna stop playing as soon as I restart the stream. So I'm gonna have to stay off the stream for 10 minutes while I learn it. That's not gonna work. Any Bush songs like about the president, like President Bush songs, or what's a Bush song? What if someone posts the tabs in the chat? In order for me to be I'm fucking entirely self-taught, so in order for me to be able to play a song, I have to know it fairly well. And Green Day was never one of my standby kind of bands. You know what I mean? I'm trying to see if that super chatter sent anything else. Let me see. Let me look at their chat history. Let's see here. Anything. Oh, anything. Dude, my boy said anything. Okay. Anything then, huh? Well, that's a wide variety, I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I can't do that one, but I do like playing it as a little warm up for my fingers. I'm in the process of learning it, but I haven't quite picked it up just yet. Holy shit, another $5. Look at that. Pretentious definition. A boisterous bum acting, grandstanding, and pandering while also living in a glass house. Example, you hold the 5. Yeah, motherfucker just typed out a whole definition for a term they don't even know how to spell. Thank you for the $5. Appreciate that. What a great country. God bless America. I agree. God bless America for people like me and all of the other free thinkers in chat and all of the people who help make America a great place. Mr. Trump, we don't need to make America great again. America's great right now. The economy's not great. The safety levels aren't great. The economic security's horrible. But the culture, the freedoms, the democracy, I don't know about you, but I find myself liking those things quite a bit. In fact, one of my main problems with the president is his resistance to these ideas, his seeming unwillingness to recognize the freedoms that the Constitution affords everyday Americans. There we go. Shakedown 1979. Yep, see? It's still fucking me up a little bit because I haven't gotten completely used to that weird chord pattern, but eventually I will be able to play that whole fucking song, and that'll be a beautiful day when I can. Beautiful day when I can. So, if we're not going to do the... Okay, let me think here. What's good? Like, I'm trying to think of something that would be Green Day adjacent, because they requested Green Day. I can't play that, but I can play something Green Day adjacent. I'm thinking like 90s, 2000s, punk, pop punk, something like that. Another $5. Holy shit. Let me see. $5? You don't stand for anything. You are giving good people a bad name by pandering. I don't really believe you. Okay, well, that's fine. I appreciate the $5. By the way, I don't know what rumors you've heard, but I don't have any whores. I'm not pandering, okay? I'm not a pimp. Da. Oh, that one's too obscure. Okay, TV Girl? I don't know TV Girl. Play the obscure one? Okay, I'll play the obscure one. Traveling through the graveyard with a suitcase full of spikes. Honey, I'm just trying to find my way to you. Lit up every cottonwood I found out in the dark, and I cut down all the cottonwood trees. Hooked up all the arrowheads off buffalo trails of the Indians. That Oklahoma sky was cut blue. The whippoorwill, they all came back and tossed. Honey, I'm just trying to find my way to you. I quit counting cars that night in the cold by the satellite field. I quit flashing smiles, running wild. Yeah, I'm just trying to find my way to you. Fuck, I can't remember the second verse of that song. That was a terrible choice. Why did you encourage me to do that? It was a terrible choice. Awful song. No, I mean, actually, the song is good, but it's just bad for me because it popped into my head randomly at like fucking 3 p.m. today. And like the vague impression of the song has been in my head ever since. But I haven't listened to it in like 2 years, so I don't remember all the weird. Like, I don't remember all the words at this point. Terrible choice. Terrible instincts. What was that song I was learning recently? What was that song I was playing a lot of recently? It was a song I was doing. Da, 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 da. You know what? I'm just gonna do it. No, I feel like I play that one too much. Fuck, you know? This is the problem of someone who knows too many songs. Let me think here. You know what? I'm just gonna play some neck deep. Fuck you, neck deep. Fuck you all. her with words I miss her. We still talk like every day. We don't talk in the same way that we used to. I'll move on for you. We could never see eye to eye either way. Fuck. Man, you know what it is? There's a gremlin. There's a gremlin in the air, and it's fucking sapping all the talent right out of me. We've got another $5 though. So I guess as long as the $5 keep coming, I'm gonna keep playing my shitty music. Your supporters don't actually support you. It takes me throwing money at you to get you any action. You're loving it. This is the only thing you want at fucking $. Okay, cool. Well, I appreciate the $5. Thank you. I don't even know what you're trying to say at this point, but I appreciate the money. I can tell you that much. I ain't no fucking clue what you're on about, but I'm happy for the money. I'll tell you what, this is a fucking apt song for the conditions we see ourselves in today. The Eastern world, it is exploding. Violence flaring and bullets loading. You're old enough to kill, just not for voting. You don't believe in war, well, that's the gun you're toting. And even the Jordan River has bodies floating. But you tell me over and over and over again, my friends, that you don't believe we're on the eve of destruction. Don't you understand what I'm trying to say? Don't you feel the fears that I feel today? If that button is pushed, well, there's no running away. There'll be no one to save with this world in a grave. Take on your voice, it's time to scare you boys, and you tell me over and over and over again, my friend, that you don't believe we're on the eve of destruction. My blood's so mad, it's like coagulating while I'm sitting here just contemplating. I can twist the truth, there is no I can't taste the truth. It takes no contemplation. A whole room of senators won't pass legislation, and marchers alone didn't end segregation. When human respect is disintegrating, this whole fucking world is just too frustrating. But you tell me over and over and over again, my friends, that you don't believe we're on the eve of destruction. Take a look at all the hate there is in Red China, then take a look around to Selma, Alabama. Well, you may leave here for 4 days in space. Well, when you return, it'll be the same fucking place. The pounding of the drums, the pride and disgrace. You can bury your dead, just don't leave a trace. Hate your next door neighbors, just don't forget to say grace. And tell me over and over and over and over again, my friends, you don't believe we're on the eve of destruction. No, no, you don't believe we're on the eve of destruction. And MAGA. MAGA in shambles. Hashtag MAGA in shambles. Let me get a hashtag MAGA in shambles in the chat. Well done, suits your voice. Aw, thank you. Know any folk punk? You've come to the right woman. I sure do. Okay, sorry, it took me a second to find the key. Well, we're kids building models of a world that we might want to live in. With sorting feelings in our stomachs is a liberation or starvation. But have we made it anywhere at all if the dishes are never done? If we can't live without dishwashers, how would we live without cops? And so you're asking me, who does the dishes after the revolution? Well, I'll do my own dishes now. I'll do my own dishes then. You know it's always the ones who don't that ask that fucking question. So I don't believe in God, but I'm also not an atheist. Because the universe is chaos, and chaos plays favorites. Well, you know, lately I've been thinking about how I love Jesus. Because Jesus, he was a dirty homeless hippie peace activist. He said, I'll find God to anybody who would listen. Turning water into space bags. Turning water into space bags. Turning water into space bags with lowlives and anarchists. Jesus was a pretty cool guy from leftist perspective. That's what that song's about, basically. It's called Jesus Does the Dishes. It's by Wingnut Dishwashers Union. Used to smoke with Pat. Thankfully, we were both in a better spot in life now. Dude, I am so fucking happy to have seen that. And honestly, I'm happy to hear that Pat is like making music again, maybe, possibly. It's just super fucking cool. Dude was a massive fucking influence over the folk punk movement. And Dirty Kids too, you know? Just broadly. I ended up back here and holy shit, this is bad, like really bad, but it's okay. You're delusional enough to ignore my criticism, take classes or stop. No, never gonna stop. Not for you, not for my mom if she asks me, Not for an alien if it came down and appeared before me. Not for God himself if he made himself known. Not going to stop. Never. In fact, address the transphobia in the chat. I've already addressed it enough. I've given them enough attention this stream. Well, you should. You're embarrassing yourself. Cool. Apparently embarrassing yourself pays pretty well. Cry about it. That just makes me want to play even more folk punk songs. Let's see, do I know another good brash one? I have another good one? Yes, I do. I am. There we go. I am a leader, but you will not follow me. I ain't no preacher, for I'm full of blasphemy. See you in hell, boys. See you in hell, boys. Like an angel that's been dancing with some devils. I'm a bad girl with a hope for better days. Got riches, racks, and bottles in my tool pouch. My desire is society's jailbait. If you tell me pink or blue, I'll take the blackest. If you ask me one or two, I'll answer three. If you point me in a direction, I'll run backwards. And at the corner of utopia, I'll toast to anarchy. It's fire and rock, I'm coming home to you. I'm picking the bones out of my dinner stew. Open up the gates of hell and roll me through. Fire and rock, I'm coming home to you. I am a leader, but you will not follow me. I ain't no preacher, for I'm full of blasphemy. See you now, boys. See you now, boys. Well, they're saying Satan's army's rising up soon. Well, if it is, I'm Secretary of no state. Got riches, rocks, and bottles in my tool pouch. My desire is society's jailbait. Cause there's tons of guys all moping about the workday. Dimes by the dozen, beats a verse with 1,000 pounds. But there's nothing like a lady with a buzzsaw. Well, I might just build your house, but I just might tear it down. It's fire and rock, I'm coming home to you. I'm picking the bones out of my dinner stew. Open up the gates of hell and roll me through. Fire and rock, I'm coming home to you. I am a leader, but you will not follow me. I ain't no preacher, for I'm full of blasphemy. See you in hell, boys. See you in hell, see you in hell, boys. Yes, Sparky, I will surely have another. To the witches, to the rock stars and the trolls, I'll be coming to recruit your rebel children. There ain't no use in locking doors. There's only me in every home. With blood on my boots and blood on my jeans. All with those pretty dresses, pair of magazines. Open up the gates of hell. Please. And I'll be back in your daughter's dreams. I am a leader, but you will not follow me. I ain't no preacher, for I'm full of blasphemy. See you in hell, boys! I'm gonna put my hair back up. I'm gonna do that real quick. I'm just gonna. I'll do a low pony this time. That colonial chic, you know? Oh, there we go. Ah, shit. I love my chat right now. You guys are great. I've got to run. Thanks for the great tunes. Of course. An Irishman just said I sound great. That's all I need to know. All you haters in the chat can shut up, because an Irishman just said that they liked the tunes. So in the merry month of June, up and started walking, left me home a tomb, nearly broken hearted, saluted father dear, kiss me darling mother, drink a pint of beer, the grief and tears that smothered them after eat the corn, leave where I was born, caught a stop like thorn, the banished ghosts and goblins ran, who bear brogues, rattling over the bogs, scaring all the dogs on the rocky road to Dublin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road, all the way to Dublin, Macfalladira. Just to prove that my love of Irish music is genuine. As I was going over the Cork and Kerry mountains, I met with Captain Farrell and his money he was counting. I first produced my pistol and I then produced my rapier. Said stand and deliver, for you know you're a bold deceiver. Whack ball the daddy-o, whack ball the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. I counted out his money, and it made a pretty penny. I counted out his money, then I took it home to Jenny. She sighed and she swore that she never would deceive me. But the devil take that woman, for you know she wasn't teasing. Black ball the daddy-o, black ball the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. I went into my chamber all for to take a slumber. I dreamt of golden jewels, and for sure it was no wonder that Jenny drew my charges and she filled them up with water and sent for Captain Farrell to be ready for the slaughter. Black ball the daddy-o, black ball the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. Twas early in the morning, just before I rose to travel. Up comes a band of footpads, and likewise Captain Farrell. I first produced my pistol, he's stolen away my rapier, but I couldn't issue the water, so a prisoner I was taken. Ring-dum-a-doo-dum-a-da. Whack ball the daddy-o, whack ball the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. If there's anyone can aid me, it's me brother in the army. If I can find his station, is it Corker and Killarney? And if he'll go with me, we'll go roving in Kilkitty. And I'm sure he'll treat me better than me own me darling Jenny. Ring-dum-a-doo-dum-a-da. Whack for the daddy-o, whack for the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. There's some take the light in their carriages or rolling, while others take the light in the early and the bowling. While I take the light in the juice of the barley, and courting pretty girls in the morning bright and early. Ring-dum-a-doo-dum-a-da. Whack for the daddy-o, whack for the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. Ring-dum-a-doo-dum-a-da. Whack for the daddy-o, whack for the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. I love it too. That's a good old song. That's a good old song. Hello, Ishinobi. You can find content that explores the connection between trans music like folk punk and folk. You're not the only person who's noticed. You should check into it. Oh yeah, for sure, yeah. A show. Come labor, get ready to dance for your bread. My son, I was once where you stand. There's a beast with insatiable hunger. Its minions need crafters and skilled working hands. Needs a fortress high on the hilltop, and we are their great chosen crew. But we are all lonely carpenters, so what have we power to do? Oh, misery calls us to rise up at dawn, to break way as fast as we can. We may be the mortar that cradles the brick, but I am just one grain of sand. And don't tell me of tossing the wrenches, it only brings pleasure and pain. When we are all lonely carpenters, carpenters, so where we're planted is where we remain. We can't take no more than get out of the way, 'cause we've got a day to get through. We wire their houses, their mansions, their banks, no, their mansions from cellar to roof. We've got hammers and rock, we've got hammers and chisels and buzzsaws. We could destroy any great wall we come to. But we are all lonely carpenters, so what have we power to do? I like folk punk, but all my friends are trans. That's what happens sometimes. I'm sorry, friend. Thanks for the good times, good vibes. Aw, thank you for the $5. And thank you for the good vibes and good time. But yeah, that. The good times and good vibes. That stuff. Yeah, thank you. I'm so bad at this. I can't believe people were still making fun of my teeth, and I literally brushed right before coming on here. I did that just to see if people would still fuck on my teeth, and they did. Not that I care, but it was just interesting to see, like, okay, I already brush once a day. Let's just see if I brush right before the stream, if that makes any difference. Is that a Zemo? Yeah, it's a Xenomorph for sure. Big HR Giger fan. I am too, but not like I love looking at them kind of thing. Like, I really respect his talent and admire his talent, and I think he's the best in the business when it comes to drawing up like horrifying creatures. But they're like he's so good at it that it's actually unsettling for me to look at Giger work sometimes. That's how you do that. That's so cool. I wanted to know how to make that little effect so long. I'll put that up for a second. I guess I should probably get off here soon. It is getting rather late. Alrighty, well, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. Well, the night remains young. Thank you guys for hanging out. As always, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for the super chats, and thank you for everything else. I will see you guys around some other time. Goodbye.